All right. Good morning, everyone. Uh, First of all, wish you a very happy New Year. So, hope you guys are doing good. And today, this particular session, I really wanted to do to provide you kind of a synopsis of what we have done up so far, and also provide give you that assignment which is still pending. Okay, and you have like 1 month period to work on this. All right. So today is 15th, right? Uh, yep, today is 15th, right? So 14th, today is 14th, uh, right? And I'll probably give you 1 month, right? So say 10th of May, you have to submit this assignment work. All right. So far, uh, there are a few things that we have covered. So I'm not going to detail on this, but what we'll do is we'll have a online session, right? So we'll do have an online session to discuss about any of the questions that you guys have. So what I'm going to do is to have this session on this week. So we'll be doing it on Microsoft Teams, right? So I'm going to do it on Microsoft Teams, and I'm going to create a Teams account or Teams, yeah, Teams in Microsoft OneDrive, sorry, Microsoft, and then I'm going to invite you all, right? So once the team is filled with you guys, so I can schedule the time. So most probably by in Friday at Friday around 10 a.m. we'll have this particular online meeting, so you guys can ask questions if you have any about the assessment or any other thing. So of course, two things discussed. One is the assessment, and if you have any questions, and also about the final exam. So we'll discuss about this in the online session, right? So final exam. Right. So from the beginning, I told you I'll be giving you assignment component, and also there'll be two parts actually. The one that I'm giving you today, and also the bug bounty, which I've asked you to do from day one. So what I need you to do, uh, I'll explain about the assessment that you're supposed to do now, and also you have to submit your whatever you have done in bug bounty, probably in the weeks or 2 weeks time, or I'll give you 1 week to give update on that. We'll discuss more on this in the online meeting. All right, so not here right now. So right, so next we'll discuss about the assignment, right? So it's not a very hard assignment, even though you get 1 month period, almost 1 month period. It'll take it probably maximum 5 hours to complete it. Right, so 5 hours to complete it. But make sure that you put like good thoughts into this, and try to make it a serious exercise, right? Then you will learn a lot out of it, and this will directly help you to the final exam as well. Right, so we'll talk about that later. Right, so this is what you have to do. So up to now we have learned basics of Linux, right? And also assembly, right? Uh, which is going beyond Linux, right? We learn C, right? And we learn a bit of Python, and then also network programming, right? So only part that I have not covered up to this point is the automation side, right? Automation side, like DevNet and other things. So that will come, right? That will come. So right. So now what you're supposed to do in this assessment. So it's a very generic sort of thing that you'll do, meaning you have to find the Linux vulnerability, right? So you have seen many Linux vulnerabilities. So actually, let me give you example. So I'm going to share this video also with you. So if you go to my YouTube channel, all right, okay, there's a video which I hosted. I will share it with this particular video explaining the project. All right. Uh, okay. So my internet is a bit slow. So still it's loading. Yeah, so once you go here, you will find this video, hacking a Windows box uh, using Metasploit. So in this example,
so today we're going to learn about.
Right, so I will share this, so like 20 minutes video. So please go through it, and you also can do this. Similarly, you can do the same for any Linux box, any Linux in the sense a vulnerable Linux box. So to find out a vulnerable Linux box and do it. So I'm not going to go through this video right now, so because I'm going to share it. So you'll be able to go through it, right? So same can be done for a Linux box as well, right? So that's sort of a practical that we're supposed to do. So the idea is, so there are a lot of Linux boxes, right, with a lot of vulnerabilities, right? So, so what you are supposed to do is find a vulnerability of an existing Linux box, and you try to exploit it. So when you're exploiting, the only thing is you can, like, if you know a Linux box with a vulnerability, you can use an exploit like Metasploit, a tool like Metasploit in Kali Linux, and can exploit it. This is actually being explained clearly in the video. So please watch the video, and if you have any questions, you can ask this in the Friday session, right? Uh, and but in your assessment, don't use Metasploit, because here you don't learn much. You just like do the exploit automatically, right? So rather doing that, you have to get the exploits, and probably through a program code, right? Because you know a lot about running programs and all that in Linux, right? So through a program code, you have to access the or exploit the vulnerability. So this is like the thing that you have to do. So only thing is, you have to find the vulnerability, then you have to set up that system. Say it's a Ubuntu box, you have to set up the Ubuntu box with that vulnerability, and you have to find the exploit code, right? So it can be a shell code, Linux shell code, or anything that we have done in the class. And using this exploit code, you have to exploit this particular Linux box, right? So this Linux box can be having multiple different types of vulnerabilities. It can be a systems vulnerability, it can be some vulnerability in the kernel, it can be a vulnerability in one of the applications like PHP, or it can be a vulnerability in the web server, right? So it can be any, right? It can be any of those, right? So find this vulnerability first. Do a research on that, right? So do a research on finding the vulnerability. That's also important. So find quite a new vulnerability. Like you can find some old one as well, but don't go like more than 3 years ago. Like so try to find the last 3 years vulnerability for last 3 years, right? So finding the vulnerability and then finding an exploit, right? Exploit, and then you have to do a demonstration of how to do the exploit, right? So demonstration. So as submission wise, what you have to submit, right, would be the step-by-step instruction, right? So documentation, proper documentation should be there, including everything. So we see at least 20 pages, right, of documentation. So don't get afraid when you say 20 pages. 20 pages is nothing like when you put everything right. And then you have to have a video, say at least 30 minutes, right? Again, don't be afraid. 30 minutes videos are not that hard to create, right? Right? And explain. So, but the thing is this, of course, it's so hard as a second, maybe it's not really hard, but you might think it's hard for you to find out your own vulnerabilities, write your own exploit code. Truly, in this class, it's not necessary for you to write exploits. So in the third year or fourth year, you will do that, write your own shell codes. Rather, you will find the correct shell codes, exploit codes, Python codes, C codes, whatsoever, assembly codes. Right? You can find them. Right? You can find them, and then you can use them. So that's completely okay, right? But only thing is, every time, right, every time you use somebody else's code, right, try your best to refer it. Otherwise that's plagiarism. So make sure to refer everything that you take from other people. It's a tutorial that you're looking into, it's a video that you're looking into, right? So any of these said things, so try your best to refer it. So then say as an example, so once you refer everything and you do a complete activity, you can go up to 90, which is A, right? So but depending on this very small vulnerability that So then these marks will go down. And also if you don't have proper documentation, you don't have the proper explanation, these marks will go down, right? And of course, we not set it 90, we set like 78. So like then it's not the A minus, right? You can go to A if you have a bit of novelty, put your own coding into it. So obviously you get an A or A plus. There's no questions asked, right? And remember, so this basically get around 40 marks, and also I said 10 marks for the bug bounty. So this mark is really important. So work hard on this. All right. Uh, and okay. So and if you want, like you can find like a lot of vulnerabilities. Like as an example, if you go to this site. There's one called dirty cow vulnerability, right? So dirty cow vulnerability is a Linux root exploitation vulnerability. So you have there's a video also, so you can watch that, and also it's a bit of a tricky one, but still you can work on that as well, right? Mm. Yeah, so there are so many vulnerabilities like this. If you check, so you can find one of those and work towards it, right? So in this particular vulnerability, I'll also do one or two, so forget to get the idea for you to get idea, right? And so how basically this works, so I'll just explain a bit quickly. So I'm going to run my own video. uh, so basically what you do, you find a Windows box here. So this is the
version of
Windows box, Windows 2000 box, right? So actually we are hacking a Windows box from Linux, right? Kali Linux. So basically what you do is basically from Kali you are going to run Nessus, a tool to find out vulnerabilities. So once you run Nessus tool, you'll find out that there are some, or you can use Nmap also. You can find out if there's any vulnerability. So if you, now as an example, you can see the Nessus tool in action.
I will tell
Okay.
activation code. And
Yeah, so this is the Nessus tool. So you can do a
and it
scan
should
on
display
that IP address in the Windows
configuration
PC,
to
and then so you can get the vulnerability. So there are several vulnerabilities because it's an old machine. There are several vulnerabilities listed, right? So these are the vulnerabilities. So there are color codes, right? So using the color codes, you can identify which are critical. So you can find the critical vulnerability. See like this MS02. This is an old vulnerability, 2003 vulnerability. Right? So don't go like for two old vulnerabilities, right? And then using a Metasploit, you can do a very simple hack, and then basically you can get access to this Windows box. So same can be done to any Linux box in the sense any vulnerable Linux box having critical vulnerability, right? To make it correct. So so this is basically what we are supposed to do, right? So hope it's clear. Uh, Again, summing it up, so you have to work on Linux exploitation, right? Linux vulnerability and how to exploit it. Okay, so that's your project, right? So but there's a catch here. So the thing is there are around 70 80 students, and I don't want the same vulnerability to get repeated, right? So as much as possible, so I'm going to set up a Google Sheet, right? uh, and or a Microsoft Excel sheet, and make sure that you are supposed to, within few days you are supposed to fill your Linux exploit and what you're supposed to do. So please understand, you can get Linux exploit, any exploit. You don't have to go for detailed exploitations, so any exploit, but make sure that you have to have this amount of details explaining how to do it. So the things not to use, right? So you cannot use things like Metasploit. You can use Metasploit if you are going to write or add your own script, but don't just use scripts in Metasploit. So that's not possible to do, right? So you have to basically set up your scripts or your shell codes or whatsoever, right? So use those tools to minimum. So I want you to go hands-on, right? So that's what we have done, right? We have written our own codes, whether it's assembly, whether it's Python, whether it's C. So I want you to go hands on this, right? And yeah, so in the Friday session, don't miss this. So if you have questions, so you have like 3 more days to go. So So I'm recording this one. I'm going to soon after I recorded, I'm going to post this in your Slack group, and so I'll make sure to get the message to you all. I know it's you know New Year time, but put like 20-30 minutes and probably another 30 minutes to do a bit of a research and fill the Excel sheet. All right. Uh, okay, good. So if and meantime, if you have questions, Slack is there. So please check this. Put your questions in the Slack. I'll be online, so I'll be able to answer your questions. So hope it's clear, and we talk about the bug bounty, right, and how we are progressing about it in the online session on Friday. So which is on 17th, no, 17th, yeah. All right. So hope you guys doing good. So wish you all a very happy and a safe New Year. So keep on learning, right? So see you soon on the meeting.